But let's continue on with basketball, fellas. The Naismith Hall of Fame, Carmelo Anthony. Not just Carmelo Anthony. It's just reported just now. Dwight Howard, Atlanta, Georgia's own, has been elected to the Hall of Fame as a first ballot. So,
Deserved.
right, richly deserving. Both of them well deserving of the Hall of Fame. Remember, folks, it's the Naismith Hall of Fame. That means they take everything into consideration: college, Olympics, professional level, everything else. When you look at Carmelo's career, he was hell of a scorer. Nice mid-range game. What he did in Syracuse as a freshman, winning the national championship in 2002, 3 Olympic gold medals, prolific scorer, 10-time NBA All-Star, a scoring champion. He is deserving of the Hall of Fame. And of course, Dwight Howard. Even though he's gotten a lot of flack, a lot of criticism for his personality, things of that nature, you cannot disregard what he did during his time in Orlando. Without question, at that time, he was the best big man in the game. Despite how raw, how limited he was offensively, he averaged around 18 to 20 a game. He prevented us from seeing what we wanted to see, which was LeBron and Kobe in the finals. Let's not forget the puppet commercials that Nike, remember the little puppet commercials between LeBron and Kobe? Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
That was fun to watch back in them days. And the Orlando Magic prevented that. So when I look at Dwight Howard, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 3 consecutive seasons, 08, 09, 10, has taken the Orlando Magic to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 times. Well deserving of the Hall of Fame. Dwight Howard, look, he got a lot of flack, a lot of criticism because of from Orlando to LA. I think he just went to LA because of the market and because he wanted to get out of Orlando. It just didn't seem like LA. There was a lot of expectations because when you play that position, the center position, the big men, the George Mikins, the Will Chamberlains, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, the Shaquille O'Neals, I don't think Dwight Howard wanted to live up to that, nor to be the successor to rest his soul, Kobe Bryant. Goes to Houston with James Harden. There were comparisons of a young Shaq and Kobe, but that didn't work out. Then he kept going around different teams. But the Lakers, when they won the championship during the bubble at that time, he was a key contributor for them coming off the bench, rebounding, giving defense. I'm happy for both of those guys. They deserve the Hall of Fame. What are y'all thoughts on that?
Oh,
BRF,
They,
BRF, you can go
I'm
first.
my
I'm
bad.
so happy for. No, you good, you good, champ. I'm so happy Dwight Howard got him. I am because arguably the most athletic center in the history of the sport. Just all of his just all his contributions. Like yeah, you said three three consecutive Defensive Player of the Year awards. I mean, to say top 5 defensive center of all time is not a stretch. It's not ridiculous. I do think it's a top 5 defensive center of all time. Um, he wasn't the greatest scorer, but the fact, yeah, like you said, PSP, the fact that he was limited in his offensive skill set, but could still give you 20 and 10 a night, 2012, 2013, whatever it was, the fact that he could still give you that a night, and the defense, don't get me started about the defense. I mean, one of the scariest defensive centers ever, just like his rim protection, and it's not, it wasn't just his footwork underneath the basket on the defensive side of the ball, his athleticism and being able to the amazing rim protector that he was, but yet his athleticism on top of that just really magnified how good he was as a defensive player, as a rim protector. I mean, some of those defensive years as a player that he had in Orlando was just insane. When you think about the blocks and just the defensive rebounds and just being able to alter games just from getting into the lane, his ability to just change everything an offense did. I mean, it's I'm glad he got respected and I'm glad he got recognized, and he definitely deserved to get into the Hall of Fame. Carmelo Anthony, I honestly think with Carmelo Anthony, he was almost at the point the NBA career alone could have got him there. I mean, yeah, we definitely look at his 1 year at Syracuse leading them to a national championship. We look at his Olympic play and with the 3 gold medals. But as an NBA player, he I mean, 10-time All-Star, made it to 2 conference finals. I mean, just one of the greatest pure scorers that the NBA has ever seen. Um, I'm glad he got in. I'm glad he's getting his flowers because people need to understand. People, it's like you hear about Carmelo Anthony. What was he as dynamic as an offensive player as some of the other greats like the Kobe's, the Mikes, the LeBrons? Was he as dynamic of an offensive player as a lot of those guys? No, he wasn't as dynamic, but the man was elite when it comes to, hey, I need a, hey, 2 minutes to go in the game, I need a bucket. Carmelo Anthony is one of the clutchest players we've ever, is one of the clutchest players of the last 20 years at least. I mean, homeboy could go get you a bucket in the final minute of the game. He was that good at it. I hated he didn't win a championship in the NBA, but we're not going to discount the fact that Carmelo Anthony is one of the best clutch players we've seen in this generation.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for him that he's getting into the Hall of Fame. I'm happy for him, and he absolutely deserves it. I mean, I just and looking at it though, and like I said, with Champ and myself, as well as you, PSP, like now we're about to really start seeing our childhood enshrined in all these Hall of Fames, whether it be baseball, basketball, football. Like I think what did it for me, like in terms of football, is seeing like Ray Lewis get in, seeing Brian Urlacher get in, seeing Brian Dawkins get in. Like you're seeing our childhood guys get in, and it's just like, man, it's like you can't believe it was that long ago. And now in the NBA, now you're seeing AI get in, you're seeing Yao Ming get in, Carmelo, Dwight Howard getting in, you seeing D Wade get in. It's like, bro, it's crazy to think now that like all of our childhood guys that we grew up watching in these sports are now starting to get into the Hall of Fame. Like, and with baseball, like I think what really hit me in terms of baseball was seeing Chipper Jones get into the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Chipper Jones getting into the Hall of Fame really hit it for me. It was like, oh, we getting old. We getting old. But I mean, but that's honestly the beauty of life and the beauty of sports. Because I will put Chipper Jones up against any hitter, pure hitter in baseball. He's the second greatest switch hitter of all time, only to Mickey Mantle, and I'll put him up against anybody. But going back to the basketball, I'm happy for both of those brothers. I'm happy for both of them. They both deserve to get in. And just I feel like Carmelo's NBA career alone should have got him there. And like then you factor in the Olympics in college. I mean, when you factor in the Olympics in college, it's a no brainer. I think the NBA career alone is justified to get him in. And Dwight Howard, I think, is one of the 5 greatest defensive centers of all time, one of the most athletic centers of all time. And just his reign from like, I would say from about '06, '05 to like I say '09 or whatever, before he left Orlando and went to the Lakers, an era of dominance of like from a defensive player like at the center position. It's like which we don't see. So I'm very happy he's getting recognized for this. I'm glad I'm glad at least one of them got a championship. Dwight Howard getting that championship with the Lakers. I don't even care if it was in the bubble. I feel like at the end of the day, a championship is a championship because everybody that want to knock on the Lakers and winning that bubble championship, they all had the same advantages. They all had the same disadvantages. Why are we getting on the Lakers for winning that championship? Is it just because Braun was on that team? Everybody had the same advantages and disadvantages. I mean, and you hear a lot of people say the purest form of one of the purest forms of basketball was played in the bubble because you didn't have to worry about fans and anything like that. You just go out and hoop. So shout out to Carmelo and Dwight Howard. They definitely. I'm glad they both got in. Like I said, seeing our now we're seeing our childhood get inducted into these Hall of Fames, and it's just it's got that real sentimental value to it. So shout out to those brothers, man. They both deserve to get in the Hall of Fame, and I'm happy for both of them.
Champ?
Hey, man. Love to see Dwight Howard in there, man. That personality. Say what you will about his personality, his personal life, but that dude can play basketball. And the thing is, imagine what he would be today. Remember, during that time, it wasn't a lot of big men that was just really doing their thing back then. Tim Duncan, but as far as 7 foot the centers, it seems like he played in an era where centers were kind of like on their way out, and it was venturing over in the small ball. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Seems that it was like the small ball era, and centers were considered a luxury more so than a necessity, and he was able to defeat that. And like I said, I mean, 3 Defensive Player of the Years in DPOY in a row, where he was able to lead that team to the NBA Finals. I mean, what? Not a lot of Hall of Famers on that team neither. As far as D'Angelo Magic, it wasn't like he had a plethora of Hall of Famers, a hell of a lot of All Stars on there either. So he deserves a hell of a lot of credit for carrying that team. It was a huge carry job, and he helped them get to the NBA Finals. I'm glad he was able to get a ring, and I wish that, like I said, it seems like although I'm happy for him playing and getting into the Hall of Fame, it seems like he played in the wrong era. I would love to see what Dwight Howard would be able to do in this era with that defense and with his ability and with his athleticism at his peak. Because like I said, he played in the era where everybody was venturing more to small ball rather than, saying the center, rather than people saying the game was playing from the inside in, from the inside out, not the outside in. So I'm glad that he made one. I'm glad he finally got a ring. Fortunately, it didn't work out in LA the first time, but it worked out the second time. So big ups to him. Carmelo, love to see that, man. Look, BRF, you know this for a fact. Everybody wanted the Carmelo braids in high school, bro. Everybody wanted the Carmelo braids in high school, bro. So his contribution.
You mean them AI braids too.
Yeah, everybody wanted the Carmelo in the AI braids in high school. So everybody wanted to score like Carmelo, man. I mean, he was not just a good basketball player; he's a cultural icon. So I'm glad that he made it to the Hall of Fame. He is the modern day Adrian Dantley, if you ask me. One of those guys that can really go and get you a bucket at any time. One of those guys that can really just go get you a bucket at any time. I mean,
big time scorer for those who may not know who Adrian Dantley is.
Yeah, played for the Utah Jazz and the Bad Boy Pistons, by the way.
Yes, he did.
So I think he's the modern day Adrian Dantley. I really feel like if you wanted a bucket, you get it to Carmelo. I hate that he did not get drafted by the Detroit Pistons in 2004. That way he could have started his career off with a ring. And I also hate that he didn't go to Chicago in order to play with Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose when he was up for that contract. But be that as it may, he did what he felt was right. And he admitted that, look, I wasn't about to give up on that. I wasn't about to give up all of that just to go somewhere else.
Denver offered him a good amount of money. He didn't want to do that. And actually, Champ, he was supposed to, Stephen A. Smith has mentioned this numerous times. He was supposed to go to Miami. It wasn't supposed to be LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosh. It was supposed to be LeBron, D. Wade, and Melo.
Yeah. But I think it worked out how it was supposed to do, because the thing is, Carmelo was a scorer. So that would have been interesting to see. I think they got it right. I mean, that happened the way it was supposed to be. So Yeah.
No, I agree because again, when you look at Chris Bosh, who I believe will go into the, is he already in the Hall of Fame? But if
I
not,
think he
he'll probably
already in
be
there.
in. Yeah, but Chris Bosh, his ability to stretch the floor, also his rim protection, unlike Melo. So, and also neither of them are. You look at them as great defenders. Bosh can give you that type of edge on the defensive side. But I'm happy for both of them. And
Yes.
Champ, I got an interesting question for you. Speaking of Dwight Howard, has Dwight Howard been disrespected too much? Because again, remember the NBA's top 75. You would think someone of Dwight Howard's resume should be in the NBA's top 75, as well as someone like a Kyrie Irving.
I have to say yes, but the thing is, when you think about centers, the talent pool is so deep that it's kind of hard to put him up in there. That's why I think that he's disrespected. Because you have to ask yourself, who would you rather start your franchise with, Dwight Howard or Bill Russell? Would you rather start it with Dwight Howard or Wilt Chamberlain? Dwight Howard or, let's say, Shaq? Dwight Howard or
Hakeem.
Hakeem? That's the thing. Now, I would make the argument that he should have made it in there, and I like this player, but I really think that he should have made it in there over Bill Walton. I really think he should have made it in over Bill. So
Wow. Okay.
I think he should have made it in there because if you really, really think about it, there was only like 2 magical seasons that Bill Walton had, and it was the 77 Portland Trailblazers and the 86 Celtics. He was part of 2 of the greatest teams of all time, but outside of that, it's like, where are you? I understand the injuries, but I think he should have made it in over him. But I think like I said, I think he's disrespected because of the amount of talent that centers had. Like I said, Bill Russell, you start with him and Wilt Chamberlain, then you go to Kareem, then you go to Shaq, then you go to Mutombo, then you go to David Robinson, then you start a whole lot of other things. So I think that he should have made it in there over Bill, but like I said, Bill Walton, one of the coolest guys you ever want to see. But I really think that he should have made it in there over him. But there's a lot of times it's not that guys are being disrespected. It's just that the talent pool is so deep that it's kind of hard to put you in there. Remember, Dominique Wilkins, when they made the 50 greatest players of all time, he didn't get into that. When they had the 50 greatest players of all time in the 90s, the 50th anniversary of the NBA, they didn't have him in there. He didn't make it until they got to the 75 greatest players of all time. So there's the talent pool in the NBA is very, very deep over the course of being an all-time great player. So I don't think it's so much that players get disrespected, more so than the talent pool. And even with Kyrie, who would you rather have? Would you rather have him or Magic? Would you rather have him or Steph?
Yeah.
Would you rather have him or Oscar Robertson? Would you rather have him or, now you can pick and choose your battle between him and Isaiah Thomas or, John Stockton. You can pick your battles here and there, but you have to ask yourself, who would you rather have in those situations? I'm pretty sure a lot of modern basketball fans would say, I'd rather have Kyrie over Isaiah or Kyrie over Isaiah. Well, Kyrie over Isaiah and Kyrie over John Stockton. So it would really depend on who you had. It's really media and opinion based, but I think the talent pool is so deep, especially at the center position. It's so many cases for a lot of guys being all-time great. It's kind of hard to put them in the box because, like I said, when you think about the center position, even in the 80s, it was deep. Moses Malone, Robert Parrish, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Ralph Sampson, Akeem Olajuwon. That's 5 right there that you can just pick out and say, it's kind of, like I said, and remember, Ralph Sampson's not even a top 75 player of all time, but at his peak, he was great. So yeah. I don't think it's so much as a lot of the modern day guys being disrespected. It's just throughout history, certain positions are so deep, it's just kind of hard to put them in there.
Champ, what's so interesting about Dwight Howard? I'm reading the stat right here. For those who may not know, Dwight Howard, and he's been very open about this throughout his career, he did have a struggle with a candy addiction. It says here, former NBA player Dwight Howard famously struggled with a candy addiction, consuming the equivalent of 24 candy bars worth of sugar daily, which led to a nerve dysfunction and prompted a dietary intervention by the Lakers nutritionist Kate Shanahan. And Dwight Howard was still producing like that while eating 24 bars of candy.
I don't know. Some guys can do it. Some guys can. I don't know how he did that. 24 candy bars a day. I'm sleeping for the rest of the day. I'm just gonna be real with him, sleeping for the rest of the day. Or either, I don't know. 20 sneaker. I don't know. I mean, that's diabolical. I mean, 20 candy bars a day. Oh
Yep.
man, I can't imagine that, man. Big ups to the Dwight Howard. I can't. That is that just goes to show you how these athletes are built so differently than the common man. And yeah, because 20 candy bars, I'm ready. Either I'm finna be jumping around the walls for the rest of the day, or either I'm going to sleep. So I don't know how that works. I mean, 20 candy bars. Then you got to get out there and run that court. Is your stomach not boiling? I mean, I have to ask that question.
Certain athletes, I mean, even Daddy Dennis mentioned Marshawn with them Skittles, Sherm with the Gushers, DK Metcalf eats tons of candy too. Let's not forget Lamar Odom. Lamar Odom ate a lot of candy back in his time with the Lakers. Champ, you would know a thing or two.
I don't think we're talking about the kind of candy he was on.
But no. Go look at the video. He actually ate a ton of candy throughout his time with the Lakers.
Oh, okay. We're talking about the right kind of candy.
No.
Why
would you think I was talking about that?
My fault. I apologize. Excuse me. I thought you were talking about that other candy that he was on. But my bad.
Lord.
I'm just saying.
You gonna get the FCC or what? I need to have FCC airwaves. I mean, they're gonna get it on.
Like I said, I didn't look. When you start talking about Lamar Odom and candy, I automatically start thinking about the candy. I start thinking about the candy from Miami rather than the candy from Mars. My bad. We're talking about the sneakers candy, not the Charlotte Sheen candy. My bad. My fault.
You make me on this right now. Okay,
I didn't need to put you back on the bottle, PSP, because like I said, the first thing you brought up, you said candy. I'm like, wait a minute, what candy are we